It's your man SKYZOO Skyzoo out here with the homies Dead in Hip Hop, Salem Psalm Studios, you know how we doing it. And this is The Joint, powered by Drop. You know what it is, baby.
Couldn't stop me if they paid you to. Maybe you obliged, but realize the hover sides off my latest hue. Yankee blue, semi-on shoulders when they bank on you. And heavy is the head that with a crown that they be aiming towards.
James Brown said in the movie, it sound good and feel good in his musical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was my favorite part. And he was like cracking a joke on his man. He's like, you want us to play on the downbeat, you want us to play off the beat, off the drum. That's not musical. That's not right. You can't write music like that. James Brown was like, do it sound good? If it sound good, then it feel good. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. Rest in peace, James Brown. If it sound good, then it feel good, then it's musical. You know, and I was like, yeah, word up, you know?
This is Dead in Hip Hop here with Black Metaphor and Skyzoo. Just wrapped up the recording session for The Joint, which came out incredibly dope. I dug it. So I think one of the visions that we had for this particular project was just, you know, connecting people together. And I know that was one of the things that FIFO was talking about.
I ran into Skyzoo here and at the Lock shows was pretty dope.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And talked to him. He was like, yeah, man, you know, I've been trying to connect with Black Metaphor. We happened to get him on The Joint tape. Thank you for participating. Check out the interview that's coming too. And now we got Skyzoo and we linked them up. So, you know, a lot of stuff happens, but Dead in Hip Hop was able to bring it together, and, you know, I'm glad that.
Back when Richest Gangster came out, the Ross joint, I remember being I was in the airport. I remember being in the airport. I don't know where I was going. And I'm listening to The Joint. I'm like, yo, who did this? So I Google right away, like the track list and da. Cause you know, you get it off iTunes, so it don't say, you know, who did what, you know, 2014. So I Google, you know, who did The Joint, and I found it was him. I went on Twitter and found him. I was like, yo, The Joint is crazy. He hit me right back. Yo, I've been a supporter for a minute. Let's link. So we started DMing and all that. Once y'all reached out and Ashley got involved and AJ and all y'all, and then AJ sent the beat. And he was like, yeah, it's Black Metaphor. And I was like, oh, snap, word. And Ashley was like, yeah, we got Black Metaphor now, we got some other people now. And I was like, yeah, you know, it makes sense because I've been wanting to get with Son. So, yeah, you know, let's do it. And then once Beautiful came out, yo, man, where's this guy? You know what I mean? Like, you know, Richest Gangster was the warm-up, but Beautiful, I was like, where's this guy phone number at, man? Like, I need to holler, I need to talk to him. So now we here, you know what I mean? So it's definitely good things.
Have you listened to Skyzoo's music before, or?
Oh man, yeah, man, that all the work you did with Ill Mind,
Appreciate
that
it.
interpretation album. I mean,
Yeah,
the Salvation,
yeah, my interpretation
yeah,
on
my
it, yeah.
interpretation of the song, and then the other one I asked you, the Real.
Oh, Return of the Real,
yeah,
Just
Return
Blaze
of the
joint,
Real.
yeah.
That shit, but yeah, I've been a fan of his since like 08, 09.
Appreciate it.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. So you see how it was bound to happen, you know what I mean? So it's good things, you know.
So like, what was you feeling when you heard the beat, the particular beat that they sent you?
Well, with me, you know, everything comes from the beat. You know, whatever the concept is, whatever I talk about. Therefore, even when I'm working on my albums and things, if I have a concept in mind or something I want to talk about, I'll look for a beat that supports that, because everything is about the beat kind of telling the story before I even say anything. Okay. So as a listener, I want, when you hear the beat, you kind of already know where the record might go just off the beat alone, and then I jump in and just help with it. So when I heard The Joint, you know, the joint he chopped up, Nothing's Gonna Stop Me and all that, and I know that joint, so you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's an easy one, like I said in the beginning. You know, the sample's so sweet, it just say it for you. You know, it sets the tone. It's just saying what it is. Nothing's gonna stop me. You know, so I'm just taking it back to coming from a certain place and growing to, you know, get to a certain place in life, leaving A and getting to Z and everything in between, and nothing's gonna stop me. You know, it's just easy, you know, so that's kind of where it all came from. So it started with what he chopped up and where he took it, and, you know, even something as simple as a metronome, you know, like the tempo of it and where it goes, and, you know, it being like this and having a pocket instead of being up fast or too laid back, you know, whatever it was, is just telling me what to do to it, you know what I mean? It's just telling me what I need to do to the beat.
It's so crazy that producers don't really have their face out there, and people don't always know or do research to find out who makes the music.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of times, the beat, like you just said, takes you everywhere. So it's like he's creating the landscape for you already.
Yeah. It starts with the producer. You know, I'm not the rapper who writes to thin air and then finds a beat later, and then there's no pocket. You know, with me, as lyrical as I am and as much as people care about what I say and throwing frisbees and all that, I'm just as much concerned about the pocket. You know, and when you rhyming, you got to be in the pocket, the flow, and you know, finding those crevices that you can just jump in and jump out of that another rapper may not be able to do. So, you know, it starts with the beat. I can't write to thin air and find a beat later because it's not gonna match. It may match 99.9, but it's not gonna match 100. I needed to match 101.
What was going through your head when you were sitting here and he was writing the verse?
I mean, I was just interested to hear where he was gonna take it. I mean, but like he said, like I feel like the beat pretty much self-explanatory. Like anybody, you know what I'm saying, would do their version of Nothing's Gonna Stop Me, really. I heard the sample, it just spoke to me. So, you know what I'm saying, it was pretty much self-explanatory to me what to do with it. It's just a matter of getting the drums right, getting everything right on it, getting the pocket right, like he said.
Did you actually like write the whole verse sitting here
Yeah,
listening to the beat? Now how does that feel? Like is that how you prefer to work? Like does that pressure make you
That's
put
how
your all
everything.
Okay.
Everything you guys have ever heard has been on the spot from 2010 on. The Salvation may be the last project that I wrote, some at the studio, some at the crib, some on the way to the studio, on the train back then or whatever it was. Salvation might be the last project that I wrote, you know, in different places. But everything from then on, no matter what it is, I just write it on the spot. I just find the inspiration to hit me more in the studio on the spot. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I think if you make music, however you make it, however you get inspired, as long as you're inspired and the music comes out dope, that's all that really matters. Whether your inspiration comes from sitting in your backyard or sitting on your steps or sitting on the park bench in the jacks or around my way or whatever it is, you know, whatever creates what needs to be created, that's it. But for me, it's in the studio. I'll hear a beat, I'll get an idea, I'll get a concept, but I won't write one word. Everything will be in the studio. Because for me, I feel like however excited you are when you write said rhyme, that emotion, that excitement, that energy, that enthusiasm, that hype, you know, if you gotta go to the studio 2 days later, you write it at the crib on a Sunday and your session ain't till Tuesday, you gotta bottle that. You know, you gotta, that excitement, y'all just wrote the stupid line, you know, that line is crazy, oh snap, that's gonna kill him. You gotta take that, put it in the bottle, close it up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put it in the fridge, get it later, Tuesday go and open it up and hope that it's still the same. Nah, I'm cool. We just cook on the spot. You know what I mean? We just cook up on the spot.
You always struck me as one of the type of dudes that just be like riding the train with a big notebook. That's just always right, you know what I mean? So that's
High
crazy.
school, yeah, in high school I did that, but it's been a while since I did that. But yeah, I come from that though, and I'm not ashamed of that. That made me who I am. So maybe that's why it does come off that way, or give you that type of authenticity or whatever it is. Maybe that's why.
You two definitely sound like you work well together based on what I've heard tonight. And I heard he was just playing you some joints, you know, that he has. So obviously you wanted to work with him. So definitely
yeah, because I'm working right now. You know, I'm working on my third solo album. It always seems like there's so much more music, which there is because I put out a lot of music. But as far as solo albums, I only have 2 full albums. You know, The Salvation and The Dream Deferred. You know, Cloud 9 was an EP with Knife. Live from the Tape Deck was an EP with Ill Mind. Great Debater was a mixtape. Corner Store Classic, Power of Words, Theo vs. JJ, those was all mixtapes, you know. And then Penny Series Part 1, Penny Series Part 2, Band Practice, the Jazz 4-part freestyle series. Those was all freestyle series. And then Older Reasonable Doubt was a remake album with Ant-Man. So I have tons of music, but only got 2 albums. So like just now before we started, somebody tweeted, you know, Skyzoo is 2 for 2 with the classics and got a third coming. Like it was a line I said on a record, and it was like, yo, you're 2 for 2 with the classics. And somebody responded to him and was like, nah, Skyzoo got way more classic albums than that. I'm working on my 3rd album, Music for My Friends, and looking at a next summer, early next summer release, maybe even sooner, but I think it's gonna be next summer because I got a way that I want to walk it in. I'm 3 songs in, probably like 11 more to go. over 2 weeks. I knocked out like 3 joints in the past 2 weeks, and yeah, so this is perfect. So I was like, yeah, let's go. You know, there's room, and I got beats for days. I got beats on deck, like definites, like joints that I know are definitely gonna make the cut, like Ant-Man Wonder and Jaleel, Apollo Brown, and who else is on it? A lot of up and comers too. Melon D. It's a lot of up and comers on it on this one as well. More than I've ever had on an album. Like it's a good amount of up and comers on it, just because the sound. You know, my man Willie B is on it from TDE. He had and he gonna be involved. And, you know what I mean? We gonna get it going. So yeah, word up.
And what do you have working going on right now?
What just came out, I had 3 records on the Jeezy album. I did Win Is a Win, I did Beautiful, and I did How I Did It, Perfection. Like he said before that, the Ross album. Also, I had the R.I.P. Kevin Miller with Isaiah Rashad.
The Game Joint.
Game. Sanctuary for French. The End for Meek. In God We Trust for Meek Mill. Get Right for Jeezy. A lot of shit, man.
So you just stay diverse as far as working with mainstream artists and working with indie artists.
Yeah.
So do you tailor your beats depending on who you work with, or do you just kind of you just make beats all the time, right? Like you kind of seem like that too, which is why I don't know. Yeah, it seems like a good match.
Yeah. No, we're gonna cook. Definitely. You know what I'm saying?